I got a hell of a topic for you guys tonight. Let me just make sure my audio's good for the podcast. Let me make sure my audio is situated, and let me get all of my notes together because 50 Cent absolutely ethered the 2020 wannabe rendition of Biggie Smalls and Puff Daddy. That's right. 50 Cent went off on both of them. A couple guys who came together, about a decade ago. Diddy turned Rick Ross into a superstar after Jay-Z put him on the map. Y'all remember, Jay-Z put Rick Ross on the map. Hit that like button if you're just tapping in here. Make sure you drop your city and state. Let me know where you're all tapping in from tonight. Everybody in here, drop your city and state. We got a lot to talk about. So Puff Daddy took Rick Ross and made him a household name. He gave him all the tools to create. He gave him all the tools to pretty much create his own label. And then we saw Maybach Music. You know what I mean? A lot of people witnessed MMG from afar, but I watched it right from my own eyes, y'all. I saw Rick Ross put together one of the biggest labels, one of the most reputable labels, right alongside. I mean, everybody wanted to be in Murder Inc., everybody wanted to be in G Unit, and everybody wanted to be in Maybach Music. Now, I broke off from Maybach Music. My OG, Smurf, he started going against MMG. You know, MMG started feeling like, whatever, we're too big for Bang'em Smurf. We're too big for you, Smurf. Whatever. But y'all know what happened. I didn't fall off from Bang'em Smurf just because he left MMG, just because Rick Ross got too big for him. I stayed alongside Bang'em Smurf. And then everybody was like, oh shit, Bang'em Smurf has an ace in his pocket. He's got an outlet now. Bang'em Smurf is a gangster with a voice. Now people who don't know Bang'em Smurf, who come to my channel, are going to hear about him. Because of who? Because of Mikey T. Because of your boy, Mikey T. And that's why MMG and me, we went through our rift, but then they ended up coming back saying, Mikey T, will you come back to MMG? Mikey T, will you come back to MMG? All that bullshit. And another thing I want to talk about is Rick Ross putting out his album with Meek Mill. I don't know if y'all heard it yet. I don't know if y'all just decided to frisbee that shit. So Rick Ross put out an album with Meek Mill. I believe it was called Too Good to Be True. Please, please don't give me hell if that's not the case. It was called Too Good to Be True. I want to ask y'all, who do y'all think it worked better for? Do you think it worked better for Rick Ross or Meek Mill at this point in time, guys? Shout out my guy Max Gunna. Was popping with you, G's. Appreciate you for tapping in. Yeah. So let's talk about another thing. I want to ask y'all, why can't Rick Ross move units no more? Rick Ross, 50 called you out. Ricky, Officer Ricky, 50 called you out. You only moved 31,000 units of Too Good to Be True. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad, homie. So I want to ask everybody, why can't Rick Ross move units anymore? Is it because people were outraged and found out that he was a CO? No. No, it's not. It's not because people were outraged of him being a CO, excuse me. The streets want to know the real reason, though. I'll wait. What was the reason that Rick Ross can't sell units anymore, you guys? The streets want to know. The real reason was a man by the name of Curtis Jackson. Boo Boo. Boo Boo came out on you, Rose. Boo Boo ended up eclipsing you. Everybody thought back then, oh, Rick Ross survived 50 Cent. Rose, you might as well make a documentary about that time frame, surviving 50 Cent. Because as time has progressed, we have seen that 50 Cent's career has still continued to evolve, while Rick Ross's career has not. Rick Ross lost a deal with Reebok, ended up doing a deal with an e-cigarette. 50 Cent has elevated. 50 was out in Greece or he was out in some European country. He sold 25,000 tickets. The man sold 25,000 tickets. And what happened? He got an idea. 50 Cent had a stroke of genius. The Final Lap Tour. And he sold out 100 shows. Probably 100 plus shows, guys. So my answer, what ruined Rick Ross's chance of selling records? 50 Cent. 50 ended up eclipsing you when it was all said and done because BMF, Power, shit, even For Life, even This Is 50 Central is bigger than anything that Rick Ross is doing right now. Bigger than any of it. So let me say, while Rick Ross is stuck dissing his TV shows, Rick Ross can't do any better in the music industry. Rick Ross at one point in time said 50 Cent got a $250,000 production budget for BMF. First of all, I want to say that had to be a lie. But I would bet, you want to say that 50 got $250,000 to produce BMF? I'm going to go on the record and bet that Rick Ross never in his life gets another $250,000 budget to produce an album after the flop that was Too Good to Be True, even though it was alongside Meek Mill. That's pretty embarrassment. That's pretty embarrassing. So I'm going to go on the record and bet that Rick Ross never gets another $250,000 production budget for a label deal again. Ever. Ever, ever. Forever, ever. Rick Ross will never get another deal for a Maybach Music recording album. That shit was whack, Rose. That was whack, and 50 got you on that one. I need everybody in here, hit that like button. Let me know what city and state you're tapped in from. I'm going to shout out everybody that lets me know what city and state they're tapped in from. You know what I represent. I'm from Connecticut. I had to go in tonight on this story, you guys, because 50 just went off. Meek Mill and Rick Ross's album flopped. Newport News, VA was popping. Adrian, appreciate you tapping in. Harlem in the building. You know I got love for Harlem. I just did an episode about Harlem a couple days ago. We were talking about Big L. We were talking about Big L, and we were talking about Joel Santana, the comparison there. 155th and 8th Ave. Salute, salute. Harlem in the building. New interview with Herb McGruff out now. What you on, bro? Sorry, bro. What you on, Adrian? Salute, salute. So, yeah, man, that's what I predict, in all honesty. Let me know. Let me know, man. Let me know. So, Rick Ross' words have actually come back to haunt him. He joked about it. He joked about it, you guys, but now it's come back to haunt him. Listen to me. Rick Ross, since you want to worry about people's budgets, first of all, go on a diet. Second of all, you blew your Reebok deal because of your lyrics. Did you hear what I said? You blew a deal. Curtis had a Reebok deal, stupid. You blew it, fat boy. You blew it for your stupid bar that made you sound extra creepy. You blew a deal with Reebok for your creepy ass bar. She put a Molly in her drink and she didn't even know it. So you lost hella money for that. You left, and for what? For what? Would you get a Molly endorsement? You had to go back to promoting e-cigarettes, like I said. I need everybody in here, hit that like button if you fuck with the white boy. Now you went back to promoting e-cigarettes, Rose. You had to go back to promoting gunplay. That's even worse. You had to go back to promoting gunplay. Let me ask you, who is successful from MMG? Who's successful from MMG? Nobody. Nobody, baby. You are really the only CEO, Rick Ross. You are really the only CEO whose artists come out and didn't even sell 1,000 copies. You put out Gunplay. He's the biggest embarrassment in Def Jam's history. He sold under 1,000 copies. I'm sorry, that's an embarrassment. You had Gunplay working with Cool and Dre. That's a waste of their time. I pulled up to Cool and Dre's crib. I saw 30 whips outside. I walked in. I saw the chefs. I ate. None of the other bloggers are doing that, though. None of the other bloggers are living like me, though, you guys. Walking into celebrities' cribs, having their chefs fix me up food. Sorry, they're not doing it like me. You know what I mean? But Ross, it's extra embarrassing because you are the only CEO who's had an artist that come out that didn't sell 1,000 copies. You are also the only CEO who offered to sign a bum off of the streets. That is more annoying than when some of my gangster homies will pay crackheads to freestyle for them. I'm like, I don't film that type of shit. Y'all can film what you want to film, but I don't film that type of shit. I film real hip hop shit. I don't be filming cokeheads freestyling for my entertainment. I don't. I just don't. I'm sorry. It's not what I do. I'm not looking for a hit that way. 50 Cent offered to buy Revolt. So Rick Ross and Meek Mill are dropping flop albums, and 50 Cent's about to buy a whole network. Yeah, 50 Cent said, I'll buy Revolt from you, Playboy. I'll buy Revolt from you, Playboy, for the low, though. 50 Cent said he wants it on the low. I'm talking about low, like when WCW sold to the WWF for like $2 million. 50 wants Revolt for the low, you guys. 50 also added in, he said, because you know Cadillac and AT&T are gonna pull out. 50's basically putting the sponsors of Diddy's network on blast. When everybody else who is involved with Diddy right now at this point in time is falling back from him. Even Macy's decided to stop carrying Sean John. So, guys, if you spent $60 on a pair of Sean John jeans in your life, put a 1 in the chat. So 50 wants to buy Revolt. Let me know what y'all think. Should he buy Revolt? Another thing I want to ask is, how does 50 Cent know Cadillac and AT&T are going to pull out? How does 50 Cent know these two major endorsements are going to pull out? Guys, this is why I'm on here talking about this. We've all sat and lived through this. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. He knows that because he has seen this before. He knows that because he's seen this before. We were just talking about Rick Ross before. If you check out my last blog, I did a live 2 nights ago about Rick Ross, where I spoke about him losing his Reebok deal for his bars. 50 Cent is smart. He sees how this is going to play out. 50's thinking, let me buy Revolt before the shit hits the fan for you. 50 is thinking, Diddy, you're about to need 10 lawyers. You're about to need 10 lawyers now with this new stuff coming out, homie. You need 10 lawyers. What the hell are you worried about Revolt for? You did what you could with Revolt. You need to worry about your own ass not ending up in jail, Diddy. You know what I mean? You don't need to be worrying about if Fabulous is going to come to your party. You know, you might not be throwing any more parties, Papa Diddy Pop. You need to worry about saving your own ass right now, homie. You know, you don't worry about Fab. Stop calling that man daddy as well. Jesus. This shit might be for real for you because Diddy, you have a lot of haters. You know, you're real iffy in a lot of situations. Everything going around with Keefy D right now, you're kind of iffy even when it comes to Tupac's murder. A lot of people are iffy about you with the Southside Crips. I'm just being real. I'm just being real. Like I said, I witnessed this over the years. You know, no one is going to say, listen, you're hated, Diddy. You're not R. Kelly hated. You know what I mean? You're hated, but you're not R. Kelly hated. I'll give you that. But the thing is, you just rub people the wrong way. And if you do get locked up, no one is going to say, get the free Diddy shirts. No one's going to say, get the free Diddy shirts ready if Puff gets booked. It's not going to be like free Max B. It's going to be like, oh, Diddy got booked? For what? Was it Tupac's murder? That's like O.J. Simpson. They couldn't get him on murder, so they got him on stealing. You know what I mean? It's like Al Capone. They couldn't get him on shit besides taxes. But the point is, they got Al Capone. And he was a real gangster. P. Diddy, your name? You got to explain that, first of all, man. I don't know who told you back in the day that Puff Daddy would be cool. But let me tell you, Daddy is Yonkers slang, homie. And you're not even from there. But even that, I don't know why you would name yourself that, homie. You wouldn't have to change your name to be Diddy if you named yourself something that wasn't so corny to begin with. It's like that fool Gully TV. I had to tell him, you know what I mean? Listen, I'm not going to lie. Brother Love, Diddy, P. Diddy, Papa Diddy Pop, whatever the hell he's going by, what they said in that video. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie. You did reinvent yourself multiple times. Bad Boy 2.0, Bad Boy the Saga Continues. From No Way Out, you really did. You reinvented yourself. It worked for you. But in reality, it could have backfired. Everybody in here, if you support the channel, hit the like button. I don't think anybody else is doing it like me, to be honest. It could have backfired. So listen, Diddy, I think you should hit up 50. I think you should talk some numbers. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? He says no, like when you tried to ask him for $2 million to sign Mace. You know, what's the worst that could happen? He might counteroffer you. Worst case scenario, you could do business. 50 pokes a lot of fun at you, but listen, he's not your ops. People think they're ops. I get it. People always think Diddy and 50 are ops, but it's not that serious. If Diddy sees 50, he's going to bow down like he always does. He wants zero smoke. And listen, when 50 sees someone bowing down, someone with money and power like Diddy, he actually respects it. Diddy at one point offered to take 50 shopping. 50 thought there was like something wrong with him for that. You know what I mean? He was like, wait, why would you want to take me shopping? I know where all the stores are. I know where the stores are at. Why do you want to take me shopping? We've all seen what 50 does over the years. 50 takes dudes' baby mamas shopping. You know what I mean? 6ix9ine copied 50 Cent taking Chief Keef's baby mama shopping, you know? And I just want to address that one video when Diddy was in Miami. I said to myself, this is the last public video from Diddy when he was acting ignorant in Miami, driving around with a freaking golf cart, man. None of the rest of us can do that shit, Diddy. If that was me, I would have been pulled out of that golf court and I would have been arrested for a DUI. But because it's you, you're not. Like, Diddy is the type of person to suck up to the cops and then say, fuck you after they leave. He's that type of person. The cops came to him like, yo, lower your music. Like, lower your music. The cops probably didn't even know he was Diddy. And you know what I mean? You made it seem like they were hating on you because you were Diddy. He literally didn't even know who you were. You know what I mean? So that's another reason I'm shocked he didn't pull you out of your drunk ass out of there. You know what I mean? You're driving around in Miami drunk. That's not smart. You're a multimillionaire. You could have Farnsworth Bentley driving you around, for crying out loud. Hell yeah. Much love to New York. Everybody in here, drop your city and state. Let me know where you're tapping in from. But I just wanted to say Diddy looked like a bitch, first of all. Like, and then why did you lower the music? Why did you lower the music, Diddy? That's another reason that you're a bitch for saying F the cop after he leaves. I bought a system in my shit, and my shit shakes 3 red lights. Listen, you hear my shit, you're going to look up, you're going to see the next 3 red lights shaking. So what's Diddy even talking about? That's my system, you guys, and I'm not even hyping it. You can't be too close to me at the red lights. I'll blow your whole windows out. I won't blow my own out. You know what I mean? I got the bulletproof joints. It's not, my shit's not going to, my shit's going to be fine. But yours, I'm going to blow your shit out. Not like it's going to shatter and cut you, but you'll notice. You know what I mean? You'll notice probably some hairline cracks and all that when you park and look at it. But I want to get back to 50 buying Revolt. Let's not get off of that. You know what I mean? Because this is the big part that I want to talk about. 50 Cent could bring power to Revolt. He could say, Stars, you're deaded. Stars, you're deaded. Revolt only. Power Series, BMF. I'm putting all my shows on Revolt, and I'm pulling them all off of Stars. And I'm pulling them all off of Stars. Fox 5, whatever networks 50 Cent is currently on, you guys. He's pulling them off. 50 Cent is going to be on some Snoop Dogg buying death row shit. He already has G-Unit Films. He'll probably just end up merging the two, whatever they call it, you know, create a new name or whatever. And guest, I want to ask y'all, who do you all think 50 Cent will have being a host on Revolt after all that? All right. I'm just saying 50 Cent could bring all of his popular shows to Revolt. And who's going to be the host? I don't really know, but just know 50 Cent will add some shit. He'll add some shit on the Revolt network, you guys. He will probably say, like, why is Nori the only one with a podcast on Revolt? Drink Champs, low key, put Revolt on the map, you guys. You can watch Drink Champs on cable TV. That means a set-top box, meaning Verizon provides it. Verizon provides the channel. Do you know how major that is? You know what I mean? Do you know how major Nori did it at this point? And for those people who are going to say Nori didn't need Revolt, I know, whatever. I know that, sure, whatever. But my point is, Do you see what one person did for them as a brand? Guys, if BMF came to Revolt, they would get over 500,000 new subscribers. Like I said, he could also bring Power. You know how many fans? Power is bigger than Revolt. I was checking out the numbers. I believe Power is bigger than Revolt. So all of these new subscribers coming over, you know what I mean? It's just so easy. He's the only person I would trust not to fuck this up, because if 50 does, it's going to be his own money. He's his own investor. 50 Cent is possibly considering investing or buying this company. What's there to think about, Diddy? Are you down? Because you're about to be caught up in litigation for years, probably. The same thing that happened to Vince McMahon is happening to Diddy right now. It's probably going to take Diddy 10 years to run out of money, though. You know what I mean? So chill out, y'all. You're going to be, if you're waiting on that, you're going to be hating for like 10 years in a row. So calm down, haters. Diddy is rich, like almost like wealthy rich. So Charlemagne said, I'm going to tell you why 50 is literally a diabolical genius. He's telling people who the sponsors are. So if they want to harass Cadillac and AT&T, that'll happen. Don't F with Fifth. Charlemagne the God said. Very good point from Charlemagne the God. You know what I mean? Very good point. Because I was saying a little bit earlier, look at all the brands that have distanced themselves from Puff. That school he was involved with in Harlem, the charter schools. He also has lost the Macy's endorsement for Sean John. That was probably going to happen anyways, to be honest with you. A lot of people have left Revolt with all these new accusations. Diddy has been forced to step away from Revolt as well. So 50 Cent is pretty much given 50's he's given the people the ammunition, which he always does. You know, 50 got hit up on Twitter before for putting stock information up there. There were rumors that 50 had something to do with Bitcoin at one point, where he was selling his album on Bitcoin before Bitcoin had really rose in value. You know what I mean? 50 does a lot of stuff like this, you guys. He's very calculated. You know, if people write Cadillac and AT&T, these brands are going to outlast Diddy. These brands will eat Diddy up. Pause. These brands will take Diddy out if they needed to. Bad Boy will only go so far. Bad Boy won't be around as long as Cadillac. They won't be around as long as AT&T. You know what I mean? Diddy is pretty much canceled already, though. You know, Diddy's pretty much canceled already just because of what he's actually being accused of. These are not honorable charges to a civilian. They are not honorable charges to a rapper, and definitely not to any OGs. Diddy stained his own reputation, and 50 Cent is pretty much just having fun at this point. And why is 50 Cent the bad guy? Why is 50 Cent the bad guy? He didn't make anybody do anything. Nobody tricked Diddy. If Diddy was hanging around 50 Cent more, he would have not been caught up with no dumb shit like that. None of Diddy's other sponsors are dropping him. You know what I mean? Like I said, Macy's with Sean John, the charter schools. 50's just having fun with the whole situation. And I don't really think he intends on buying Revolt. Push came to shove. I mean, you know, 50 kind of has a lot on his plate. You know what I mean? Especially with everything that happened a little bit earlier in his career with all those lawsuits and shit. Yeah, yo, shout out to Supreme Son. You know, that's my guy. P2 is my guy, man. Much love to everything and all the success he's having right now. You know, them jackets are dope. I love how he had Bobby Shmurda in them joints and he put Rick Ross in them shits. You know what I mean? That kid is going far. Salute my bro P2 or Supreme Jr. So, like I said, man, if Diddy was just hanging around 50 more people who are actually real more, maybe he wouldn't be caught up like this. You know what I mean? Maybe he wouldn't be caught up like this. You know, it's not that 50 wants to see Diddy lose so bad. 50 knows that Diddy is not a threat, you know? 50 established his dominance a long, long time ago with Diddy. In 50's eyes, he's like, I got to be better than Diddy. I want to have more than Diddy. Because Diddy didn't want to show 50 the ropes. He didn't. Like I was just saying, he didn't want to be around him. He didn't want to show him the ropes. The reality is, Diddy could have put 50 in the game, but all he did was use him. He bought a couple songs from him. 50 thinks we could have did something bigger, but you wanted to do your own shit. How couldn't Diddy see that 50 Cent was up next in New York? I really don't get it. How could Diddy not see that 50 Cent was up next? You saw French Montana was up next. You snatched French Montana. Why didn't you snatch up 50? You had a chance to do that. You had a chance to do that, man. You know what I'm saying? It's because you wasn't like that, though. That's what it is, isn't it, Diddy? You wasn't like that. You wasn't on no Suge Knight shit. Suge Knight just leaked a photo of him hanging out with Justin Combs, your son, didn't he? Why was Suge Knight with your son at the height of the East and West Coast beef? Was Suge Knight running the ultimate chess move on you? When Tupac was running the ultimate chess move on Biggie? Y'all seen the pictures. We're done there, man. So Rick Ross said, it's something else I seen that I thought was cute. Charlemagne the God referred to 50 Cent as a diabolical genius. Rick Ross said, a diabolical genius doesn't file foreclosure, doesn't file bankruptcy. A diabolical genius is buying Delta. Cracking jokes on someone doesn't make you diabolical. Because if that's what makes you diabolical, then I would be diabolical for calling DJ Envy a pickle, whatever the hell he said. That shit ain't diabolical, Ross said. Getting money makes you diabolical. That's what makes you diabolical, Charlemagne. And then Rick Ross did something ultimately disrespectful. You know, Rick Ross has a beef going on with DJ Envy right now, but he also told Charlemagne to stop dick riding. That is not smart, Rick Ross. That is not smart because if you don't understand, Charlemagne's popularity has outgrown what the Breakfast Club is. If Charlemagne was still just only doing the Breakfast Club, it would be like what you're doing, Rick Ross. You're only doing music that doesn't even sell. When 50 Cent started having music that didn't sell, he found another way to excel. That's why I say if Charlemagne just kept on doing the Breakfast Club, he would remain stagnant just like you. When in reality, he went off, he created another popular podcast. I think it was called The Brilliant Idiots. He went off, he established relationships with some of the biggest TV networks today. So for you to tell Charlemagne to stop dick riding, for him making a comment calling 50 Cent a diabolical genius, when your term for diabolical genius is absolutely ludicrous. You said a diabolical genius's definition is someone who gets money. Being diabolical is being fucking evil, you moron. Being diabolical is being evil. He's saying 50 Cent is being diabolical because he's showing the general public how to literally end your friend's relationship with his biggest sponsors. That's what makes it diabolical. That is some evil shit, but it's also genius. What do you do? What do some drug dealers out there do? I've heard some drug dealers out there will call the cops on their competition. Get them raided. We just knocked out our ops. Now we're going to run the blocks. What's another example of something like that? Rick Ross, you're missing the point here. You're missing the point. What are you saying? Donald Trump isn't diabolical? He has hella shit in foreclosure. He has hella shit in foreclosure right now. Donald Trump has filed for bankruptcy. You're telling me he isn't diabolical? You're telling me he doesn't fit that description? What are you telling me, man? What you're telling me is you're an idiot. That's what you're telling me. You're telling me you're dumb as hell. You're mad dumb. Diabolical people don't have foreclosures. Then you talk about money too? Listen, homie, what they're doing is ducking taxes. Why would they tell you how much money they got? They're actively ducking tax charges. Why would they tell you how much money they get? Why would a diabolical person tell you how much money they got? Like, you don't even understand what you're talking about, man, and you just sound stupid. You think they want to have some competition about who is the biggest money getter, who is the biggest boss? You know what I mean? You think they want to have some competition about who's the biggest boss? Boss with a W, WWWWW boss. Why can't you just say it like Hugo Boss? Every time you say it, it's cringe, homie. No, actually, boss, not boss. BOSS. Talks like, come on, man. Nobody wants to mimic you like that or talk like you. And you've been saying that shit for like 10 years. It wasn't cool then. It's not cool now. You know what I mean? It's not a dope alias. It's not who you are. Who are you a boss of? Who are you a boss of, Rick Ross? How many employees do you have? I mean, you used to be the head of MMG and you did have gunplay and dice. You know what I mean? Let's be real. So I guess you could say Rick Ross is the boss of gunplay and Maybach dice. So I guess you could call yourself a boss, kind of, sort of. You're actually a former boss. You're not even a current boss. You know what I mean? And those Wingstop employees are not yours. Those Wingstop employees are not yours. Coke Boys for life. You already know. Shout out to all my fam at the Coke Boys. Them Wingstop employees work for somebody else. Because I'm a boss. Listen, guys, I'm a boss. And I don't like when people label themselves that freely. I don't like when people label themselves that shit freely, man. Homie, you do rap music. Rick Ross, you do rap music. You signed to a label. You signed to a label. Ross, do you own the label? Do you own the label? Listen to me. No. Then you have a boss. You had a boss at Def Jam. You had a boss at Warner. You had a boss at Atlantic. You had a boss at Slip and Slide. What? Trina was your boss. So let's talk about the new album you put out. The new album you put out that 50 Cent had to dish you over. Too good to be true. You thought you was going to move 100K first week, didn't you? You thought you was gonna do 100K first week. Listen, Rick Ross's sales history is similar to this. I want to ask, does anyone remember some group of weird dudes named the Triple C's? Triple the letter C. Triple C. I'm going to save you all the hassle. Don't even Google it. There was a group that actually came from Rick Ross. You know what I mean? And I want you to go look at their horrible sales. Go look at how horrible their sales were. They came out under MMG and they were technically Rick Ross's group. They were Rick Ross's G Unit. Are we really comparing the Triple C group to G Unit? Banks, Buck, hell, even Yayo. And why were they called Triple C's? What the fuck did the C even stand for? Another failure of a business partnership, I gotta say. I could go over every single one of Rick Ross's bad moves. You know what I mean? You thought they were talented? Then, homie, you don't know talent. And no one can do what 50 Cent does. Put your boy up. Put your boy out that can't even rap. I'm talking about Tony Yayo. Tony Yayo sold 214,000 copies, maybe 216,000 copies. And that, oh, no. Yeah, he sold 215,000 copies. That is 214,000 more copies than your man Gunplay. You sold 1,000 copies? Jesus, man. Your man's ain't Uncle Murda, Ross. Your man's ain't Tony Yayo. You're not sturdy in real life. So your artist got to make that up in music and talent. Everyone knew Nas was not like that, but he's great at what he does. No one is going to say he's trash. You, on the other hand, they're going to be like, Rick Ross? How can he make street music? He's not street. Nas could. Nas could because Nas wasn't a CO. The answer is simple. Y'all are from two different worlds. And you know what else, Rick Ross? When he had beef with Pac, he didn't have to hide behind the Zopound for protection. He pulled up with goons from Queensbridge, all the 3-letter sets. So that's how you know Nas is official. That's how you know Nas is realer than you. But I'm off Nas right now. Let's get back to 50 Cent roasting you for your album sales. That 150,000 sales that you're talking about that you be doing, Ross, that sales you're talking about, you haven't done that in a minute. Listen to me, guys. 50 Cent damaged Fat Joe's career bad. He didn't stop him entirely, but he damaged it. He slowed it up a lot. Fat Joe could have really made a lot more progress in the industry had he not got into beef with 50 Cent. I mean, the guy ended up being an MTV VJ at award shows at one point, if you don't remember. But he managed to stay afloat with singles with Lil Wayne. After going independent, nonetheless, he managed to stay afloat. But guess who didn't? Guess who didn't manage to stay afloat? Rick Ross. Ricky! Officer Ricky! Officer Ricky. That's why they were saying, Officer Ricky. Do you remember when Ricky got shot in Boys in the Hood and they were yelling his name? Ricky! They yell, Ricky! They yell that shit like they do in the movie when they see you, Ross. Gangsters don't call you Rick Ross. Gangsters call you Ricky. And so 50 fired back, dissing Rick Ross for his failing album with Meek Mill. Imagine a 50 Cent and Lloyd Banks album failing this bad. 50 Cent said 31,009 CDs. I shouldn't talk to you. 50 doesn't even want to talk to these guys since they sell so little units. They don't know them. 50 saying basically 50's touring all over the world. He was literally just in India. My boy hit me like, yo, what is 50 Cent doing in India? I'm like, what do you mean? What is 50 doing in India? 50 is getting to the bag, man. 50 has fans everywhere. You think he's playing around? You think he's playing around when he says that he has fans everywhere and when he travels, they don't know people's names? He did that in the Fat Joe beef. He said when he went to certain countries, countries in the continent of Africa or even overseas, Asia, you know what I mean? Like he said they didn't know these rappers he was beefing with them. They didn't know Jada. They didn't know Fat Joe. You know what I mean? A lot of these artists didn't have that overseas international push. You know what I'm saying? Do you think, Ross, do you think people in Denmark know who you are? Do y'all think people in Denmark know who Rick Ross and Meek Mill are? They're not global, you guys. They're not global. They're not in Sweden. They're not in Austria. They're not in Hungary. They're not in Germany. They're not in London. They're not out there. Shit, I be all of these places more than you, Rick Ross. I got fans worldwide. Canada, England, name the country. They're watching. 50 million view Mikey. I got fans worldwide myself, and they don't even know you out there, Rose. You need to be getting that Euro money. But then again, they don't jack you out there, really. Like 50 said, they don't know you. They ask, where's 50 Cent? They ask, where's 50 Cent in the middle of Dubai? If they brought you, Ross, they're going to say, who is this guy? Where's 50 Cent? We just paid 38 exotic camels to see 50 Cent perform, and you guys got us a knockoff, fake Biggie Smalls? That's what they're going to say in Dubai. Ricky! We just paid 38 exotic camels to see 50 Cent perform, and you guys brought us a knockoff Biggie Smalls, fake Biggie, ain't notorious for shit rose, notorious for drinking good rose and then replacing it with bullshit Bel Air. That shit behind me costs $80 a bottle. That shit behind me costs $1,000 in a nightclub. And Rick Ross replaced it with a $100 bottle of Bel Air in the nightclub. I lost respect for Ross when he did that shit. I lost respect for Ross when we were working with him and he sold 150,000 copies while he tried to get everybody to hate on Curtis. Your sales were a flop compared to 50's, man. You know what I mean? I'm just saying this, man. Multi-millionaires in Dubai would be upset to see Ross instead of 50 because you're a nobody. You make rap music that only works when it's like girly and shit, Ross. It's not intimidating. It's sweet. It's riding to the music. This is how we do it. That's what it is. You know the R&B shit you did with Drake that most people know you from. You know it's Aston Martin music, right? That's what it is, right? You can't make Honda Civic music, though. You can't do that. But what does Curtis do? 50 Cent makes the best of both worlds. But why can't you? Nas can do both. But why can't you? Jay-Z threw you a bone last thing I know. Fuck with me. You know I got it. The producer and Hove gave you a hit. That's the last hit I remember from you, Rose. Almost had to change your name to Ricky Rose. How embarrassing would that have been? How embarrassing would that have been? I'm going to ask y'all. First of all, did y'all forget about the creepy Rick Ross lyric? I'm bringing it up if you missed it. A lot of y'all forgot. A lot of y'all forgot about that creepy Rick Ross lyric. Well, 50 is always here to bring stuff up that people forgot. So if you say a sus lyric, if you're out here saying sus lyrics, for example, you look so good, I'll suck on your daddies, D. I don't want to say what artist said that bar, but we all know what artist said that bar. Sometimes artists say sus bars. This is one of those times. Rick Ross said a sus bar a long time ago, and 50 has a great memory, so 50 doesn't forget. One thing about Ross is he's a liar. He lies in his raps. He's not a drug dealer. He's not even the real Rick Ross. He lies in a way to make himself sound authentic. If you didn't know any better, you would think Rick Ross actually flipped 300 birds. I'm asking you, what in the world makes you cool? As a male, saying a bar, basically saying that you're drugging shorty's drinks. You said it, Ross. What? Your money doesn't help you? You really got to take it from a shorty? Why even say that bar? That's not even funny. As somebody with a mom and friends who have sisters, that's not funny. That's not a joke. What on earth would make you say that bar? Like, I'm being real right now. Who the fuck do you got around you that would okay that? What's wrong with you? And you're sitting around telling me to shut my mouth? You're saying, I don't want to hear no more Mikey T. Maybe if I was around, Maybach Music wouldn't be dead. Maybe if you would have signed me like your big homie, Black Bo, may he rest in peace, said, maybe if you would have signed me at that time, Maybach Music wouldn't be dead right now. Because Maybach Music is dead and gone, homie. You just tried to revitalize it with this Meek Mill album. I'm sorry, it didn't work. It didn't work. You tried to come up off of Meek Mill because he was the MMG artist that did better than you. It didn't work. And Meek Mill made himself look extra corny going back and doing his worst album of his career. 31K. And then Meek Mill had the audacity to say that Ross had it over 50. I might have to do a blog about that. Because that's the most ridiculous bullshit I've ever heard. A lot of people thought Ross did have it over 50, but Ross got stagnant with his raps. Every album started sounding the same after Deeper Than Rap. Deeper Than Rap was the last Rick Ross album you got. After that, it was Super Rich, that type of guy after. But neither of them sold more than the other. And that's when Bang'em Smurf was like, this shit ain't going to work. 50, Smurf was just working with 50. And 50 sold 1.6 in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, Rick Ross sold like 225,000 max. Like, do you realize like the difference there? When Ross's album sales came out, Smurf was disappointed. I was disappointed. Rick Ross's highest sales are 226,000. He did like 220,000 on the God Forgives I Don't album, which was the next album after we started working with him. And then after that, he did Mastermind, and it was like, dude, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Mastermind is pretty much what God forgives. I don't, just was. You're crazy, man. You're stagnant. And then he released, then because Meek Mill got locked up, he had to release the Hood Billionaire album. And that's when they put out Stolly's album too quick and it flopped. And then they signed Fat Trell and they signed Tracy T. And nobody was going to know that they signed Tracy T unless I put it out to the world. And that's why I was trying to tell Maybach Music, I was like, man, y'all need somebody to help work the artists. I was like, it's cool that you got Dre Films and you got Spiff doing the videos and shit, but I'm a little bit different than that. I don't just do the videos, I actually market the artist. Literally, dead ass. Nobody was going to know that Tracy T signed it with MMG if I didn't let the world know that shit. But Tracy T's a real one because he had me over Ross's house and all that. We was filming all over. Ross was in a couple of our videos too. I filmed a couple in studio videos. And then I almost had to have words with Ross about that. At another shoot, Ross is like, yo. And I'm like, yo, Ross, this is what it is. And he's like, all right, cool. But yeah, Ross dropped the ball because he had videographers over there and he didn't really have anybody marketing the artist. And then he signed somebody as like the president, and I was like, what? I hit him up. I'm like, yo, you're a bitch. You're a bitch, motherfucker. I'm Mikey T, the movie star. Send the paperwork. Send the paperwork or your label is over. We shut down G Unit. Me, Bang'em Smurf. Let's move on. But yeah, Ross, why go the dirtbag route? Why go that dirtbag route on a remix? You literally ruined your career over the You Don't Even Know It remix. You know what I mean? You literally ruined your career writing that creepy ass lyric. But yeah, man, I'm going to do some open questions. If anybody has any questions about tonight's topic, man, if anybody wants to follow me on Instagram right now and I'll follow y'all back. You heard? Anybody wants to follow, I got you, man. But other than that, I'm going to do some open questions if y'all want me to answer anything right now. Yeah, the Carroll City Cartel is what it was, actually. I was just fucking around. You know, I interviewed all those Triple C's guys. I actually think Torch is a really cool dude. You know, he's from the Bronx. He showed me a lot of love. He actually introduced me to Peanut. You know, Peanut, may he rest in peace. Peanut had the best. He had the best Skywalker OG. You know what I'm saying? I was smoking the same weed as Ross and shit. But then some of these other guys that were serving up some of the other rappers and shit, they just had some bomb ass, like different exotics. Not necessarily Skywalker OG, but they had like Kush, OG Kush. They had Sour Diesel, you know, they had all that shit. They would be having that when that shit was hitting back in the day. It was cherry pie. You know, I think cherry pie is a mixture of Girl Scout cookies and GG4 or something like that. But yeah, that was hitting off. But I will say I don't mess with Blue Dream. You know, I don't mess with Blue Dream whatsoever because Blue Dream actually cost me being able to smoke a blunt with Rihanna. If I had OG Kush that day, I know Rihanna would have came back and smoked a blunt with me, and that shit would have been lit. But I had the Blue Dream on deck that day, man. And I always, ever since then, I will not touch nothing. Like, yeah, go, you know, in a Q&A with Rihanna, ask her if she likes Blue Dream. She'll probably be like, no, nobody likes Blue Dream. You know what I mean? One time I did smoke Blue Dream, though. One time I did smoke Blue Dream was actually in Trinidad. It was actually in Trinidad. Smurf had got us all some Blue Dream. He gave Rick Ross so much Blue Dream in his joint. It was crazy. And then Ross gave us like 6 bottles of this rosé, you guys. This rosé behind me, not the cheap ass Bel Air. Ain't nobody drinking Bel Air. Although I did try the only bottle of Bel Air I've ever bought and I would not buy it for any more than $20 because Bel Air sells for $20. A lot of people were trying to sell it for $40. Y'all know what bottle of Bel Air I bought. I bought the Gucci Man endorsed bottle of Bel Air, which was cool. You know what I mean? It sucked though. I'll be real with you. It sucked. I had to let my girl drink that shit. And she even brings it up to this day, like, oh yeah, but you didn't drink none of that blue one. Well, first of all, I had got 2 bottles of that shit. One bottle I actually popped in Boston out in that park where they had filmed that movie Good Will Hunting. I popped a bottle of champagne out in public because I don't fuck around, you guys. You know what I mean? I'm out here living my life. I'm living my life to the fullest, you know. So I popped a bottle out there in that park. I don't give, you know what I mean? And then I was in Virginia Beach and I'd got like a few bottles of champagne. And my girl's always ragging me about that. She's like, "Oh yeah, you didn't drink that blue bottle." Yeah, because I was busy drinking Cliquot. I was busy drinking Dom Perignon. I was busy drinking that red champagne, the real rosé. You know, sometimes people don't really understand champagne really at first. You know what I'm saying? But I be giving my girl that exclusive shit. You know what I mean? You got to school them on it. You know what I mean? You got to school them on that shit. What do you? Oh shit, she might be watching the beginning of the video or something. Yeah, so basically, what's coming this week? Right now, you guys can go check out a throwback interview I did with Uncasa. It was pretty dope. Let me see if I can find it here. See if I can find it here. Uncasa. Let me see. This is a video I dropped today. Shout out to my guy Uncasa. Y'all go.
It's your boy Uncasa. I'm here with Mikey T, the movie star. Report Card Radio. You already know what it is.
Uncasa, let me ask you, what did you think when Jim Jones and French Montana put aside their issues? Oh shit.
That was a good thing for hip hop.
Yeah, y'all can go check that out. I just dropped that throwback today, man. I really love that interview I did with Uncasa. He sat with me for like 2 hours. You know what I mean? We actually did like a 2-hour interview. So I really appreciate him for giving me the opportunity to get that in depth with him about, you know, like his career, about how he got into the game. And then we also were able to tackle a couple different topics, like speaking on Casanova, speaking on Jim Jones and French Montana. You know what I mean? Speaking on Max B. So, you know, I like to get at the artist's story before I go into all the extra stuff. You know what I mean? But appreciate everybody for tapping in tonight, man. I'm about to get up out of here. Y'all can go check that interview out. Anybody on here wants to follow, go follow me on Instagram right now. If you're watching this right now and you want to follow on Instagram, whoever follows me, Mikey T _ the movie star, I will follow you back. Respect, y'all. Peace.